Welcome to another Bible in the Ear Q&A. This is for June 16th through the 30th. So some questions here we have. First question was regarding 1 Chronicles chapter 21, where it speaks of Satan stood against Israel, incited David to number Israel. And so what's that all about? Well, this is shows up in the book of Kings toward the no, not Kings, toward the end of 2 Samuel, where David numbers the people, and here in Chronicles it points to, it says Satan stood up against Israel. Seems and really David here, he's tempted to pride, which is a particular sin of Satan. So, kind of this, it's not that he's excused, because there seems to be some, Satan's kind of tempting him to number the people, which is a sign of, look at how great I am, as opposed to just thanking the Lord for the blessings of the kingdom. So that's, so it specifically mentions Satan, kind of pointing to really the aspect of pride, that David is numbering the people out of pride, kind of thinking he's bigger than his bridges. So in Satan's killing, it's tradition has it kind of that the primary sin of Satan, his fall, was pride, not wanting to worship God. I shall not worship. I shall not serve. All right, next question. 2 Kings 22. It speaks to what did it mean by the king tore his clothes? I forgot to get my page on that one. So tearing of clothes normally is, it's kind of a this is King Josiah, kind of a sign of sorrow. To tear your clothes, that's a big thing. Is the fact that the law has been found in the temple and it hasn't been followed, and so it's a sign of deep sorrow. Kind of like we've so it's kind of, you're damaging. It's like, why would you rip a shirt? Normally ripping a shirt, how strong you are or something, but it's a sign of of sorrow, sadness, and so many other times people will tear their garments when there's blasphemy, some great offense against God. They'll tear their garments, kind of, but here it's pointing to the kind of a sign of kind of tearing one's heart, like in sorrow. That's what it's pointing to. So the physical tearing of his clothes kind of points to the internal sorrow he has for the fact that the people in Israel have ignored the law. It was buried in the temple, essentially, and just King Josiah brings it out. It's found in the temple, and he's like, we got to follow this, and we haven't been following it. We haven't been following the Lord. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 10, it speaks of why was the Lord angry with Uzziah when he tried to keep the ark steady when the oxen stumbled. So this is when the ark is brought up to Jerusalem. David has it brought up. Uzziah brings it up, and they put it on a cart. The same thing in Chronicles chapter 13, but it also shows up in 2 Samuel, like chapter 5 or 6, right around there, where it's brought up, and the similar account is given where it's put on a cart. Well, why? And then he touches it. It's about to fall off the Ark of the Covenant. Well, the problem is they weren't supposed to put it on an ark. Put it on a cart. They were supposed to carry it there were poles, and it was supposed to be carried by Levites. And so they weren't following God's directives of how to properly carry it. They're putting it on a bumpy cart versus having it on poles and kind of 4 men carrying it. So that's, they aren't taking, this is, essentially, it's like a tabernacle, essentially, like the Eucharist. It's like putting on a truck and just, no, as opposed to no, this has got this, and put it in the back seat of a, pickup truck or something, and back a cab, and no, it's like, we got to transport this. We got to be careful. So that's because of the sacredness of the ark. It kind of has a quasi-sacramental presence of God, his special presence in the Ark of the Covenant. So that's why it's just you're disrespecting God's command, and especially his presence, treating him, putting him essentially in the back of a pickup truck as opposed to carrying it properly in a dignified way. So thank you for the questions. They're good questions. Just keep them coming.